Amber Gotzmeister has spent the last month in India using her talents as a tattoo artist for a humanitarian cause. Amber uses ink to blend skin tones, helping people who are living with scars of an acid attack. She also helps people living with vitiligo, which can discolor the skin. And she's our guest this morning on Your Morning. Good to have you here with us.
Thank you.
First of all, you're working with the NGO called the India Project. How did you get involved?
The CEO, Supriya Hayer, actually researched me to tattoo her eyebrows. I specialize in brows and scalp micropigmentation, all the way to these medical tattoos.
So what was your experience like in India? Tell us about it.
It was overwhelming, amazing, crazy. I met so many amazing people. I had the chance to work on all sorts of amazing children and women and men as well.
Let's talk about the acid attacks. We have a graph just to share with our viewers the rise of acid attacks just since 2013. In 2015, the number climbed to more than 500. For women and men who've been a victim of one of these attacks, what's life like for them? And why are they happening?
They're happening for various reasons. You know, culturally, things work a little bit different in India than what we're used to here in Canada and North America. And so, you know, often it could be just a form of abuse, or it could be even an accident. You know, it varies depending on each situation. But when somebody is left burnt or damaged physically in some way, unfortunately, their life is sort of pushed down the bottom of the barrel, in a sense, because their value isn't quite as high anymore.
And many of them are shunned by their own communities.
Communities and families.
Heartbreaking. Tell us about the work then that you do. How does tattooing help to bridge that gap and bring them back into community?
Well, what I do specifically is deal with hypopigmentation, which means lack of pigment. So in scar tissue, when there is a situation of lack of pigment, white spots, I'm able to blend those white spots to match the rest of their skin color. So it's not quite as visible. The scars are still there, but they can walk through life a little bit more confident.
Wow. Is the skin more tender after it's been burned like this? I know that tattooing is very painful to begin with. What's this process like for people?
You know, sometimes it can be, but often it's not. Usually there's some nerve damage, so the skin actually isn't quite as tender. But I use a local topical anesthetic, so everybody's procedure is comfortable and they have no problems going through the procedure. And then afterwards, the tattoo itself is a little bit darker. It goes through its healing process for 4 to 6 weeks, and then that darkness sort of fades and dissipates, and the skin then matches.
Amber, have you had a chance, we saw you with some of the clients that you had over in India. Have you had a chance to talk to them about what life is like for them after they've had a visit with you?
Well, I've only been home for 5 days.
So not yet.
Not yet, but everybody operates with WhatsApp over in India.
Yes.
So they all have my WhatsApp, and I've encouraged them to stay in contact with me, specifically if they have any questions or concerns along their process, because I am committed to them. And hopefully they'll send me some great pictures and let me know how that's working. My plan is to go back next year for next year's mission in 2019, and I'll be following up with them then.
You're just home for 5 days, so tell me, is there a story that still sits with you, one that you either tell people about or think about a lot?
There was this one boy that came in to see me with his in-laws, and he had some vitiligo on his neck that was visible when his shirt was done up. And his marriage arrangement depended on having those spots fixed.
Really?
And
how old is he?
He was maybe 18, 19 years old. And so we fixed the spots, and he had traveled for quite some distance to see me. And he came back the next day with gifts and, you know, to thank me. And it was a really special moment.
You really are changing lives for people.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting.
What an incredible feeling. Amber, thanks so much for coming on and telling your story and sharing your pictures with us.
Thank you.